Hey guys, welcome back to Clockwise Crypto. Hope you guys are moving forward in everything that you do. Today, diving into some market updates here. Taking a look at this one. This one is actually pretty interesting. Kevin O'Leary says new crypto exchange will compete with Binance and become the largest ever to be regulated. Now, he's talking about Binance here. Binance pretty much has good rapport with just about every country, including the US. I know it's not regulated in the US, but they do have Binance US. But, you know, Binance is by far the mother at this point when it comes to being a part and being in front of massive adoption. So let's see what he's saying here. Taking a look at here, Kevin O'Leary says new crypto exchange is coming that will take business away from the industry's leading giants. When he's talking industry leading giants, he's talking Coinbase, talking Kraken, talking Binance, Qcoin. Those are the leaders. Every major project goes through those doors, or at least wants to. Not too many people are going through Coinbase, but Binance in particular is the mother, and pretty much all major projects have to go through Binance at one point or another. So O'Leary's saying that a new firm based in Abu Dhabi called M2 will become the largest regulated crypto exchange in the world, backed by billions in capital with connections to large institutional players. He's saying the age of crypto cowboy, those days are over. We have the pending announcement rumored in the next 10 days. They will announce M2 in Abu Dhabi, the largest exchange ever that's regulated with billions backing it and tied to huge financial institutions. So what they're saying is, so unfortunately no American can register there, but really what they're going after is Binance. So like I said, everything right now goes through Binance. Binance is the beast. So Binance will probably lose half of its accounts to the new M2 because now you can go off of something that the SEC is suing and go onto a compliant exchange that's backed by billions of dollars in huge financial institutions. So that's what Kevin O'Leary is saying. Kevin O'Leary also promoted FTX shortly before the collapse, and the CEO was arrested on fraud charges. So he's not looking too credible in this article. And he's saying in October, O'Leary made similar comments about the M2 exchange. And, you know, so he's super bullish on that. I do not see a exchange that's going to be able to knock off what Binance has built. Binance has been leading the way when it comes to adoption, when it comes to building those partnerships with governments across the world. So Kevin O'Leary, you know, of course, you know, I respect him as a businessman. You know, he's sold businesses for billions of dollars, but when it comes to crypto, you got to admit, like, there aren't too many quote unquote gurus in crypto. Just because you're good in business doesn't mean you're good at crypto now. Okay. So, and you know, that can be said in some sense because you do have to run crypto, you know, your crypto project like a business, right? Cardano is structured and ran like a business. Okay. But at the same time, you have people like Kevin O'Leary who's used to traditional ways of doing business, where now, how have you been able to pivot and go towards a new age of being on top of crypto adoption, understanding decentralization, understanding tokenomics, right? And of course, you don't have to be the one that understands all that, but you know, the fact that they just pinpointed here that he promoted FTX shortly before its collapse, you know, we'll see. You know, he may be getting sponsored to say this. M2 may be sponsoring him to say this because I do think FTX did sponsor him as well. So we'll see what happens. He was on Fox saying this, and we'll see what happens. I'm very bullish on Binance long term. I do think that they, you know, despite minor regulatory challenges they've paved the way and built those relationships that are necessary for growth. So we'll see what happens. Next up, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says crypto industry thawing after SEC gets put in check. So Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse thinks the company's recent legal victories over the SEC could be a sign changing times for crypto in the country. He's saying here the SEC, in my opinion, has lost sight of the mission to protect investors, and the question is, who are they protecting in this journey? So he's saying, I'm hoping this will be a thawing of a permafrost in the United States for really seeing an amazing industry that has immense potential thrive in the largest economy in the world. So at this point in time, I think most people can agree that the SEC and, within the United States, they're on track to be behind when it comes to crypto adoption, because you have other countries that are taking it by storm. You have other countries that aren't even fully developed countries realizing that now there is very little barrier to entry for them to be competitive on a global scale. That's what cryptocurrency is. So I think that, we'll see what happens. I mean, this is kind of my thoughts on when I say I do think that we're still going to see a pullback. And this is my thoughts on that, because when we look at the SEC, we look at no regulatory clarity in the largest economy in the world, which is right now the United States. With that lack of regulatory clarity, how can you approve an ETF with limited regulatory clarity on the industry you're approving the ETF for, right? So that's kind of why I think that right now this pump, I do think I need to see something happen, and we'll actually go into the charts in a little bit, but I do need to see something happen when it comes to regulatory clarity, because I don't understand how an ETF in Bitcoin can be approved and there be no regulatory clarity in the country that's approving it. So we'll see what happens. That's just my thought. That's just my logical thought. I could be completely wrong. This isn't financial advice, but when I look at everyone's being bullish because of a Bitcoin ETF, I'm thinking to myself, well, how is an ETF approved if there's no regulatory clarity at all when it comes to crypto? Really, like it's not like it was in 18, like 17, 18 when I first got in. It was the Wild West back then. It's not as bad now, but it's still a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the asset class. So we'll see what happens from a global scale, because I do think that an ETF approval will immediately trigger FOMO. Even a fake ETF approval triggered this spike up, but we'll see what happens if we do pull back. I do think we could pull back, and it's all conditional. We'll go into the technicals in a little bit. One thing I wanted to highlight here is this article here. Deep Bitcoin pullback is one of the best case scenarios for Bitcoin heading into 24. Taking a look here, with this technical analyst is stating Bitcoin retesting a breakout zone. And really what I see here is what he's saying here is, and I see it too, is saying contrary to what you might think, the chart depiction below represents one of the best case scenarios for Bitcoin. Now, with that being said, I think that a pullback is necessary. I just want to see what happens at that level, pretty much that trend line that we've been discussing over the past week. So we take a look at this trend line here, and so you can see the price action, the trend line here on Bitcoin. We've been holding this tried and true for a while now, and this is a weekly time frame. I want to see what we do when we go back to this trend line. Like, it could be, let's say it's a weekly candles, so it could be 1, 2. It's going to be at least a month, right? So it's going to be the end of the year. So it could be up here. It could be down about 30,000 or so, which would be honestly a immediate retest to the previous level of resistance that we had. That's going to turn into a level of support. So pulling back there makes sense. Pulling back to this level makes sense, because now we have this level of support right here that we've been paying attention to, and that's the decision zone. So right here where our trend line is, this is what I want to see. I want to see what happens at this trend line. That's all I want to see. We haven't been there yet. We were there a little bit and we didn't break. We respected it. You can see all right here for about over a month, we were right there at the trend line. I'm like, guys, we're here. We might break, but we didn't break. We respected it. And now we're coming back again. This will be the third touch, guys. This will be the third touch, and only two things could happen. There's only two scenarios. Either we bounce or we break. So are we going to bounce at this level, which is fine? I'm fine either way. I need to see what happens at this level. Are we going to, and let me clear this up so you guys can see, so I'm not just making it look crazy here, but are we going to bounce or break? So I want you to remember me saying that. Are we going to bounce here and go, or are we going to break? Another scenario, we break and make that low. So I was counting on that low being made here, but we respected it. Like, we bounced, and I said, look, if we clear this level right here, we need to change our perspective. Now we have this third touch to this trend line. This is going to be the moment of truth of where we're at in the market, guys. So you guys see my mindset of why I'm not just saying FOMOing and going with the pumps, because the technicals are laying this out saying, look, there's more coming. It's not just going to be a free for all up to the moon. I truly believe we have 12 months. That's what I truly believe. And we'll see. We will see. And that's kind of the same scenario that I'm looking at here on Ethereum. I want to see what we do with this final touch to this trend line. What are we going to do? We have 1, 2, where it's multiple touches, like a zone. This third touch is going to be the moment of truth. And you're going to see that on Ethereum, because Ethereum's lining up just like Bitcoin is. So I love the momentum. I appreciate it. I love the passion that's in the crypto space. Realistically, I do not see us just mooning from here. Altcoin season, there's going to be some gains, but we see what's happening with Solana. We take a look at Solana, that pump where it was just balls to the wall. The pump was up, and sorry, I shouldn't, whatever. That's kind of, you know what I mean. Just massive pumps for weeks, massive pumps. Like, gains were made. And now if we go to the 2-hour time frame, we can even go lower. Now we're seeing a pullback. We're seeing a pullback here. So we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if we see a pullback. And that's not what a lot of people are talking about. A lot of people are talking about saying, oh, you were wrong. You said it was going to drop. I'm like, yeah, I still think it's going to drop, guys. We broke the level. I was saying, if we broke here, we need to, reevaluate. But this trend line is still in play. This trend line right here is still in play. And with that being said, we have 2 B's to look out for. Break or bounce. What are we going to do? We're getting there one way or another. Whether it's going to be in 4 weeks or 6 weeks, we're getting to this trend line one way or another. So with that being said, what are we going to do when we get there? That's the question that we are looking to find out and react to, because it's going to be you have to react to the markets there too, because then you got to brace yourself. All right, we're bounced again. Now it's time to go. Now it's time to be talking about take profit zones. So I love what I'm seeing here. Taking a look at coin market cap as well. Love what I see here in the crypto space. A ton of people FOMOing in. And really what I'm seeing right here is the market cap's 1.3 trillion. Really good to hear. But if we actually look at the number of people that are dumping, is also a little bit concerning as well. But 1.3 trillion, down 2%. And really excited to see what this is going to look like. Cardano's still top 10. You guys know how we feel about Cardano. Chainlink, I've been hearing a lot about Chainlink, so definitely want to dive into Chainlink. Going to spend some time with that. Polkadot, we already know Polkadot. We already know Avalanche. And, Shiba Inu is still flirting around. So unofficially, I'm going to say this. Unofficially, I think Shiba is going to be one of those sleepers, guys. I think Shiba is going to be one of those sleepers that no one's talking about until it's too late. So pay attention there as well. Stellar down to 25, number 25 on coin market cap as well. So seeing that, not really concerned about Stellar. I think Stellar is going to be a sleeper as well. I think there's going to be a lot of sleepers next bull run. Hedera, sleeper, guys. Hedera is going to be a sleeper. Easily going to be in the top 20. Easily, in my opinion. So pay attention to that, guys, and you know, continue to do your own homework and continue to you know, in my opinion, just brace yourself for the next bull run because it's coming. When is the big question, but I do think that a pullback is warranted when you look at the fact that we did not hit the trend line that we had up there. So pay attention to that. We pull up Bitcoin again, decision time. We could either make a new high, and that's going to be a confirmation in and of itself, making a new high. But either way, I think we're going to visit this trend line again for the third touch. So pay attention to that. No one's really talking about it. So we're going to talk about it here and just give you that insight because it's healthy. It's definitely healthy. And I'm glad that that article talked about it a little bit, but he kind of talked about it in a different light. But he's definitely talking about the pullback down to, I think he has down to 32.5 is what he's saying a pullback to, which is almost equivalent to what we're looking at. We have it about 30,000, but the longer it takes to get to the trend line again, it could be the 32,000. So it is pretty much in line. So hey guys, just wanted to cover that with you. A ton of excitement here in the markets, but continue to learn and continue to move forward in everything that you do. I hope you got some value out of this video and keep moving forward in everything that you do. We'll see.